Hey guys, so first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming out here and taking the time to watch my video. Um, my brother Tay and I have been collecting information on Panduh because he has cheating allegations. After 7 days of thorough investigation, we have concluded that he is indeed cheating, and here is the evidence. We have shown this to you and consulted a panel of 20 plus people who are reputable. Those included here are from the Destiny community. Myself, Tay, Wyvern, Legends, Foxpax, Chivalrek, Sir Demetrius, Gaji, Drewski, Walla, and Shy. On top of this, we had 3 professional esports players ranging from 2 different games. Those would be Overwatch and Apex. From Apex, we had Energy Rogue, and another that wishes to remain anonymous. From Overwatch, we have Carter OW. In addition, we consulted 2 of the best aim coaches in the world, Aimer7 and Katas, both of which coach Fortnite players. All of these people were convinced that Panduh toggles. So what is a toggle, right? What is an aim key? Well, both of those are where a player cheats to have their reticle aim for them, to have it teleport to a player's head at a high velocity, and that toggle is played on and off very quickly, either through macro or through hold toggle, so that it can replicate a flick and look less suspicious. Before we play the clips, I would like to display the multiple legit flicks from some of the best snipers in Destiny, just to get a reference as to what a legit snipe looks like inside slow motion. Now, if we do the math in courtesy of Kataz's information, we can understand that a flick normally takes 7 to 8 frames, 7 to 8, within a 120 FPS video. Now, if you cut those in half, because these videos are 60 FPS from Twitch, we can understand that it would take 3 to 4 frames for a flick. I'm going to play my first flick here during the $10,000 G1 tournament versus Panduh, Sonic, and Vince. I'm going to play it a couple times, and then I'm going to slow it down for you guys so that you guys can see frame by frame and count how many frames it takes for me to get to Sonic's head. As we can see, it's a snipe that is from point A to point B. Alright, now we're going to slow this down, and we're going to start counting the moment I accelerate, right? So we need to count for acceleration, and then we're going to stop when I decelerate completely. So here's the first frame. We have 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames, 4 frames, and here after pressing the next frame we can see that I stopped. So it took a total of 4 frames for me to reach Sonic's head and to pull the trigger and eventually eliminate Little Sonic. I'm going to go back to a friend of mine, Legends, and look at his clip. It was a pretty fast flick as well. And then I'm going to break it down for you guys to see frame by frame how many frames it took for him to kill this guy inside quick play. So we're going to play a couple times here. Now we have a good idea of what it looks like inside full time. Feel free to play that back if you wish to. Do you note that his stream quality is actually worse than Panduh's, which would prompt his reticle to teleport more often due to the lack of frames, right? The refresh rate. But yet, even here, we're going to start counting when he accelerates towards the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, right? So that same similarity there, the same amount of frames that it takes to flick to someone's head. Now you might be questioning, like, what if we get someone who's one of the fastest flickers in Destiny 2? Well, we have that clip. We have Walla in this next clip we're going to watch. And he makes a pretty ridiculous flick towards this guy's head, the poor guy. And we're going to play this in full motion for you guys to watch. And then I'm going to slow it down for you guys frame by frame so that we can see how many frames it takes for Walla as well to get to the head. So here we have the flick, right? And then even a follow-up shot. We have the flick again. So let me slow this down for you guys because it's pretty blurry here. We're going to start counting when his reticle starts accelerating. Same thing here, point A to point B. 1, 2, 3, 4 frames to the head, and the 5th to connect the shot. Right? So we have established that within three clips of 3 different players at high tier levels of PvP, that even still, it will take about 3 to 4 frames in order to flick to someone's head. Now, do you understand that Panduh has his sensitivity set to 400 DPI and 8 in-game? What does this mean? He runs on 43 centimeters per 360. So that is quite a slow sensitivity. Whereas my sensitivity in the burnout clip is on 28 centimeters per 360. So I run on 1600 DPI and 3 in game. Legends plays on 805. So that would be, if you translate that to 400 DPI, that would be 10 in game. So 2 in game sensitivity is higher than Panda. And then we have Walla, who plays on 1600 DPI with 4 in game sensitivity. So all of us have faster and different different speeds of sensitivity, and yet we are unable to break that one rule that there are 3 to 4 frames in a 60 FPS video when you make a flick, at least, right? So let's get down to business. Let's go and start playing the clips in Suspect. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys the video on Twitch, so we have all 3 here. All the 3 Twitch clips, 1, 2, 3, right? The reason why we have in Twitch form and why I want to show you guys in Twitch form is to assure you guys that none of these videos were edited. All of these were taken from Panda's stream, as you can see his name. And I'm going to play these in full speed for you guys, so you guys can see, maybe pick out for yourselves what is happening in this video that looks suspicious or inhuman. And then I'll play them in 0.25 so that you can get a better eye on it. And then we'll take it into Vegas frame by frame to see what's truly happening behind the scenes. Okay, so let's start with the first clip. I'm going to go ahead and play this in full motion, like I said. And see if you can see what's going on in this clip. Alright, now that I've played it a couple times, let me play it in slow motion. Feel free to always go back and look at clips for yourself. You can also take the URL here and look at the clips for yourself on the internet after you watch the video if you wish to. So we're going to watch this in 0.25. There it is. Now, if you haven't caught on already, what's happening that's suspicious in this clip isn't the shot itself, but what comes after, right? So we're going to watch it one more time here. And you can see that the reticle teleports to the bottom left after shooting Bird to the body. Well, why is that weird, right? Well, let's give you guys some context here. I'm going to play this full clip that I've clipped from another Twitch clip of the whole scenario. And we're going to watch Panda, Vince, and Sonic 3v3 versus Jutsu, Wolverine, and an unknown third player inside some scrims. So we're going to see in the first part of the video that Jutsu, the Titan on the other team, the enemy team, has placed down a shield and Gulch, right? Well, we're also going to see that Jutsu eliminates Nefaru inside Bend, right? That details that Jutsu is still within Gulch behind this pillar. That details his positioning, right? So Panda's obviously going to back up here because he's lost control of the situation, losing a shotgun teammate. He doesn't want to stick around next to a shield that a shotgunner just placed. It's too dangerous for him. Right here, we're going to see that he places reticle to head level where a slide would come in, right? Either from the left or from the right. But as we can recall from the clip we just watched on Google Chrome, the Twitch clip, we can see that Birdie strafes out, and then Panda reacts by flicking normally to his body and shoots him in the body. But what comes after is extremely unnatural and very inhuman. A teleportation into the wall. Now, if you remember, before I showed you guys the shot again, we just concluded the fact that Jutsu, the Titan who killed Panda's teammate, Nefaru, he set down a shield at that location that Panda's aiming at. That is perfectly head level to where Jutsu would be if he were to be behind the shield. Okay? So let's back this up a little bit. So someone can argue, right, that this could be possibly a freeze on the stream, or it could be something wrong with the game dropping frames. Well, we can confirm it's not, due to the fact that there are details, right? The particles in the air inside Endless Veil, and then you have Birdie strafing smoothly, and not to mention you can see this bullet tracer that comes from Birdie's spare rations that flies out perfectly. As we can see, I'll play it back and forth for you guys so you can see the bullet tracer is very, very smooth. Now, what isn't smooth? The reticle teleport, right? That's extremely unnatural. We can notice that there's no acceleration and no deceleration, and this flick is completed within a single frame. I'll play the rest of the video out for you guys to see that the reticle does not move after that frame. As you guys can see, it stood still for quite a while. Alright, so we're going to move on to the second clip. In the next 2 clips that we have here, Panda gives us a good reference as to what a normal flick from him looks like, right? So I'm going to play the first normal flick that Panda makes here. We're going to play this in full motion for you guys, and then slow it down to 0.25. So there's the flick. I'll play it a couple more times. Right, very fast. He doesn't plan on staying on the angle, so there's zero deceleration, so that the reticle can have max velocity reaching its target. Right, because this is a fast flick. So it's at 0.25. What are human things we notice? We see an arc, and we see follow through. Those are two very human things. Not to mention we see every frame. Now, what comes next is not natural whatsoever. I'll play that back so just in case you guys didn't see that. Kami's going to slide out and jump up, and notice what Panda's reticle does when he slides out. An extremely fast flick, right? So let's play this down inside Vegas because it's really, really fast. And key things to note here, right? We're going to look at some things that help us understand that this video is indeed not a freeze or a frame drop within the stream. This is all smooth, and the reticle is teleporting because it is teleporting, not because of any other cause. Things to note, right? Look, pay attention to the grenade charge here, the shining when the ability is recharging, right? We can notice a flow of charge. Do you see that flow? That shine? That flow repeats itself leading up to the shot as well. As you can see, the flow right there, as you pay attention here, right? And then what's another detail we can see? We can see that Kami fires a bullet tracer towards Panda's location. Now, as you can see, I'll play it frame by frame. That bullet takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames of travel to reach Cubby. But how many frames does Panda's reticle take to reach Kami's head? 1. It takes 1 frame. Now, you might be wondering, why is it not landing on Kami's head if it's a cheat? Well, as we've stated previously, the toggle or the aim key only toggles on for a split hair second, so that it replicates a flick, so that it's not suspicious and no one can catch onto it. That's why it's not landing directly on his head. Alright guys, so we're going to move on to the third clip here. Once again, we're going to see that Panda references a normal looking flick. I'll play it in full speed for you guys, so you guys can see the normal flick he does. It's going to come right now. Once again, no plans to stick onto the angle. He's just going to dip out, and that entails us that he has no deceleration once again on his flick. So this would be the max velocity that a reticle would reach an opponent. As we can see here, very human. There's follow through. There's even an arc. But what comes next is not natural whatsoever. Let me play that again for you guys. Alright, so just in case you guys didn't catch that, let me play it at 0.25, and then we'll break this down inside Vegas for you guys. Weird, right? So let's bring this into Vegas. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in for you guys so you guys can notice some details that prove that this is not a freeze once again, or a frame drop. We're going to come here and notice 3 things. We're going to notice the ammo count that that drops the frame after he shoots, and we're going to notice that the grenade charge is once again glimmering as this occurs, this flick. So we can prove that that this is not a freeze, and then we can also see that the solar nade is completely active and smoothly flowing throughout all the frames, right? So let me play this out for you guys. Boom. There is a teleport, right, towards Onyx's position. Now, what is the weirdest thing about this, other than the fact that solar nade is still smooth, that the grenade charge is still glimmering within both frames? We also notice that the ammo count is going lower once again. What is the weirdest thing? A expert player at this level knows that when you flick and shoot, you flick and shoot. You don't shoot and flick. And yet, we have a very fast flick, an impossible flick at that. But he shoots prior to flicking. At this point, the aim coaches and ourselves have had the idea that now this is a button combo. So he is trying to time his toggle and his aim at the exact same time. And here in this clip, he fumbles it, right? So even if you don't believe that he fumbled a toggle and that he doesn't have a button combo and that this is just him shooting before flicking, look at this detail. When you shoot a beloveds have a recoil that move upwards at a velocity to the left. If he were to want his reticle to sit still, completely still, such as this, after having fired a shot, moving to the left, that means we'd have to put exactly the same amount of velocity downwards and to the right to negate the flick. This means that the toggle is negating all movement of the reticle, that of which being the recoil from his sniper bullet. This is physically impossible to do. We can see after this frame that whatever is left of the recoil that was consumed by the toggle flicks up only a bit. Alright guys, so we're going to move into the fourth clip here. And this one is going to be a lot different than the other two that we have previously shown. This is still a flick to an opponent. So it is a flick that's directed towards someone, but it doesn't teleport as much. The reason why we're going to bring this up is because we do have a perspective of a player that was opposing Panduh within this video. We're going to play his perspective first so you guys can get an idea of his positioning, how he's moving, how fast he's moving, and what angles he's moving, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. Do note that while this is playing and you guys can watch, do note that both of these clips, so you can see that there's one above and one below here that are lined up. Both of these clips are lined up in real time. So we've taken the effort to make sure frame by frame that both these clips are indeed playing together at the exact same time as though they were playing live inside a tournament, right? So if you need to rewind and see where Onyx's position was to get a better idea of it, but we're going to go ahead and play Panduh's perspective now by muting the top layer. So we're muting the top layer that was Onyx's, and we're playing the one below, which is Panduh's. Let me play that one more time, if you guys, just in case you guys didn't see. Alright, so he makes a really irregular flick to the left. Well, people can argue that he is indeed replacing his mouse after swiping to the left, because he does run 48 centimeters while aimed down sights. How do we know he runs 48 centimeters per 360 while aiming down sights? Well, we do know that his sensitivity is 408 in-game, right? 400 DPI, 8 in-game. But he has a 0.9 ADS modifier, meaning that his sensitivity rounds up to about 48 centimeters when scoped in with Beloved. But what is unnatural here, right? What is unnatural? When he makes the flick to quote-unquote reposition, or whatever he's doing, right, with the scope, when he moves left, right, it's going to pause right here at this direct moment. I'll play this full speed for you guys so you can see once again how much that reticle just stops in that position. If we go back, we pause it to the frame, the exact frame at which it stops in the position, and we unmute Onyx's perspective, we can see that Onyx is directly in the direction at which Panduh is pointing at in this video. Now, if you're not convinced that he just toggled onto Onyx through the wall, me, Legends, and Tay took the time to put ourselves in a private match to recreate the angle, the exact positioning of Onyx, to see if this would line up through the wall. We did this through using True Sight on the Night Stalker class by crouching and obtaining proc from getting a headshot while crouched. And you're going to see here he's going to make the lineup. And there it is. As we see, I am sitting in the position that Onyx was, crouched. And we see Legends lining up the shot. He takes True Sight from Tay. And we can see that this indeed lines up. Now, why is this not a coincidence? Well, if this were to be one frame off inside a 60 FPS video, Onyx's location would be over here. It could be on the right side, very, very far away. Or if it was after, Onyx's body would be right over here to the left side. But yet it is directly at which Onyx's head is. Alright, so we're not done yet. We do have one more clip to discuss that is a flick. And that would be in the $10,000 tournament, in which Panduh posts a video of him playing against my team, and he drops an 8KD on our team. So why are we looking at this video? Well, we decided that we wanted to find more evidence, more than we already had. And judging from this clip that came from the G1 tournament, the $10,000 one that happened in April, we were like, well, let's look at this tournament and see if we can find more info. And we did. The first snipe, in fact, of this video is a teleport. And I'm going to play that full motion for you guys so you guys can see. And I'll play in 0.25 as always, and then bring it into Adobe After Effects to see it frame by frame. As you can see there, I'll play it one more time for you guys because it was really fast. Alright, and now I'm going to play it in 0.25 for you guys, so you guys can get a good look at it. This is where where you can notice more of the teleport, right? The similarities of the flicks that we saw in the beginning of this video. Now let's bring this into Adobe. So you might be thinking, why now After Effects when we've been consistently using Vegas? Well, the file was not compatible with Vegas, and then on top of that, the size of the file, the 8 minutes that this is, would not work with my old Vegas 16. So thus, we are inside Adobe After Effects. But once again, I have brought this frame by frame for you guys to see, and I have set up everything perfectly. We're going to see how many flicks it takes for him to get to my head once again. This is actually the first instance in which he's going to be going from point A to point B within a single frame to my head, and then instantly dead stop, so no deceleration to my head, and he's going to take the shot instantly. I'll play this frame by frame for you guys. Boom, to the head, and within the next frame, it is a shot, right? So let's see the details in this video, right? We see that his alert here is very smooth and does not increase at a skipped rate, right? So like the rate at which the alert is coming up is equal to this frame here and the teleported flick frame here. So we know that it's not an OBS issue. So how do we know that it is indeed a teleport and that it's not a frame drop within the game, right? Because OBS can record alerts at a different rate than it can the game. Well, we can see there's a particle here. And we also can notice the ammo count once again. That entail that the stream is indeed not freezing the game capture, right? The display capture here. So watch next frame, the bullet's out and it's gone, and we see recoil that jumps, normal recoil, right? But this is not normal, the flick itself. Because we've established that it takes 3 to 4 frames within a 60 FPS clip in order to reach this head. Especially with this little acceleration here. There's no way you can pick up this amount of velocity to skip 1 frame. And not to mention, there is 0 deceleration here. And just instant recoil, right? Upwards to the left, because that's the recoil of Beloved. So he has not made any movements after instantly decelerating to my head. It is instant stop, go and stop of velocity. Alright guys, so one last thing before we go. We're going to take a look at a professional player. This is a player from Team Liquid. He plays for CSGO, and his name is Stewie2K. He's a very seasoned and experienced player into the esports world, and we could see a very fast flick. And we're going to count the amount of frames that it takes for his flick to reach the opponent's head or the body, and for him to take the shot. Note that this is also at 30 FPS, so if there were any time for a reticle or a frame to skip, it is now more than ever because it is at 30 FPS. So obviously this is an extremely fast flick with a really good reaction time. We're going to slow this down very, very slowly. And note that he is hip firing, so that has no ADS modifier on it, reducing the speed of his velocity, of his sensitivity. But we're going to count the frames in which it takes him to go left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So about around 3 frames to reach the person, and then 4 frames to 5 frames to actually hit the shot, right? This is at 30 FPS, and this is a professional player for CSGO. So many of you might be wondering, have we confronted Panda? Yes, we have. In fact, we had him attempt to recreate the flick scene in all these clips for more than 4 hours. The clip in the $10,000 tournament in which he drops 8 KD on my team was the most specified clip and the one that was attempted to recreate the most because it was the easiest and was the only one in which he eliminated a target. So we actually had myself and him go into a private match together, and I positioned myself just as I was in the video, except there's no sliding, no reaction time. So this can prompt him to more easily recreate that flick that was in that video. Just to repeat, just to show this again, if you guys forgot, this is the flick here, 1 frame. So we're seeing from this point A, to point B, an instant dead stop, and then a shot right after. That is what we're trying to see here. that we're trying to have Panduh recreate. This was his fastest flick after 4 hours of attempting to recreate the flick. I'm going to play it fast for you guys, and then I'm going to slow it down. This is his fastest. Alright, now we're going to slow this down, right? We're going to count the frames. So we gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? And we allowed him to start his reticle a little further back so he could build up the acceleration he needs in order to gain the velocity to my head. But yet, we count 1, 2, 3 frames it takes to get to my head without any sort of reaction time or me moving or sliding. 3 frames. As we know, 3 frames is what resembles a natural and normal flick that is consistent with all of the legitimate flicks that I've shown you guys that seasoned players have, right? So this does not disprove the fact that he is cheating. The following is a reaction from Cardo W and what he thought about the cheating allegations against Panduh.
So if you had $1,000
Yeah.
and you could bet that this guy was cheating,
Yes.
you would 100%.
Yes.
All right.
100%. And I would tell all my friends to bet on it too. So the argument I would have, the strongest one, outside of the circumstantial stuff, like he's played for so long and he was always just good, not this good, and then suddenly he's insane, would be the fact that all of his shots are systematic. He has the initial movement towards the person. He has, when you would assume the aim key is being pressed, and then he has a sudden jump to around the hitbox, right?
Yeah.
And then he has the 1 frame after that to the hitbox. And like every clip you showed me is the same.
Yeah.
They'll do the same thing. That's hard coded. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's really obvious.
I just want to end off the video saying that none of this has gone public. Everyone that we've consulted within the panel of people that we've shown this evidence to, they have agreed, and we've told them to keep this private so that this doesn't get on social media, because that can have really bad effects on Panduh and his community. I hope this is enough information for you guys to draw your own conclusions. If you guys have any more questions about this, you guys can contact me on Twitter at VelmK9. You can also contact me on Discord at Velm #2974. Thank you guys so much.